Hello there. What's going on, everyone? We want to talk about clones today. There are some rumored nerfs on the horizon referencing the way clones are actually able to share standby tokens. They may be having that ability changed a little bit. They might even lose the ability to do it altogether. So I want to talk about that today and kind of ask the question, are clones still going to be good if they can't share standby anymore? So that's really what this video is going to be about. I do like to play clones quite a bit, so I'm going to run through different clone types. We're just going to talk about this a little bit. So, November, we're getting this rules update, and clones have this ability to share green tokens with other clones that are at distance 1 and in line of sight, and it's kind of one of the hallmark abilities for the Republic faction. Clones, they can do it with any other clone trooper as long as they have clone in the name. They can do that. And so there's, at the beginning there was just the clone troopers. We have a lot more clones now in the game, and so this has been something that's become worse and worse, I think, for people on the receiving end of some of their shenanigans. And it's basically kind of like a clone ball, that what happens in a lot of games where all of these clone units will get together. One or two of them are really heavily loaded, and then a couple more have usually no upgrades, and they're the ones that just take all these extra actions like aim and standby or dodge and standby or something like that, and then allow the other clones to just keep firing and keep firing. And it's certainly very points efficient to do that, and it might not have been such a big deal when standby was just range 2 for these guys, but they eventually came out with phase 2 clone troopers that had the training slot so they could take Overwatch and have standby range 3. And now all of a sudden you can have a unit of phase 2 clones that are shooting at range 3 with a Z6, that a cheap unit of phase 1 clones are able to supply the tokens for, and they can be hiding completely beyond line of sight or outside of vision from any other units, so nobody can potentially even take that away. And so there may certainly be some changes to how this is going to be happening. So are they still going to be good? So I think there's a lot of different clones to run through, and I think one of the things that progressively made this problem a little bit worse. First thing we actually got before the phase 2 clones even was the clone expansion pack for your clone troopers, which did give clones the option through a captain to be able to get a training upgrade. So even the phase 1 clones actually could take this and potentially do it. But then we got the phase 2 clones not long after, or I should say a lot of people got the phase 2 clones. A lot of people didn't get the phase 2 clones also because they were grossly underproduced. but on top of that, you also now have ARC troopers, which are amazing. They also have the training slot built in, and they're even better. And they can also still share all of those things. And of course, we've got Captain Rex, who is absolutely insane and kind of fuels all of this. So we got 4 different clone trooper types. So running through all of the types, I kind of want to run through why I still think clones are fantastic and will still be excellent to use, even if the worst type of nerf hits them and they completely lose it. I think there's still a fantastic opportunity to use these guys, even if they can't share the standbys at all with each other anymore, and it's restricted to only surge, aim, and dodge. First off, the ability to share surge, aim, and dodge with each other is already just a good ability. It's certainly an ability. I'll admit, certainly an ability I use the surge, aim, and dodge sharing more than I use the standby sharing. Now, granted, that's obviously just my own personal tastes. I don't often run a very heavy focus on standby sharing. At most, I'll usually do it like once or twice when I do have a list that is kind of able to employ the standby sharing. I usually don't do it too much. But I am a lot more likely to want to use things like the aim sharing. But clones still have a lot of other really great things going for them. With the phase 1 clones being the kind of the entry level clone, they have kind of like the best of both worlds of a lot of the different types of core units for those initial core units. First off, they have black dice for their ranged weapons, so they have a solid ranged weapon, and they also have a red dice for their defense. So they're already a solid. They've got the the stormtrooper armor, and they've got the rebel trooper gun. All right, now they don't have a surge for either, but there's enough stuff going on with these clones to be able to help make up for that. But they also have something incredible in the way of fire support, and for a unit that can have an increasing number of heavy weapons assigned to them right now, especially with the Z6, which is my personal favorite heavy weapon upgrade in the game. The Phase 1 clones being able to do fire support is a really nice thing. So as long as they've been given an order, they can add all of their dice to the attack pool of another attack that, of course, they also have range and line of sight on. So that much is really cool, because now if you have a fully loaded unit, you're adding 5 black dice and 6 white dice to the attack pool. And by the way, there is still aim sharing that's able to go on with this. So, you're looking at a possible 22 dice pool attack out of, 2 maybe Phase 1 clone troopers, one with fire support and the other one just attacking, with also the ability to reroll. And this is a big deal. We talk at length sometimes about certain mechanics that are really strong or potentially really broken. There's certain units that are just plain hard to kill. A lot of times this is units that have red defense die and defensive surge built in, or impervious, or even if you see a lot of my battle reports, you'll see that I often go against Rebel Pathfinders and Jyn Erso and things like that. And Danger Sense is actually a really good keyword. It just happens to sometimes be on units that don't have very good defense, so it helps make up for that. But against small to medium-sized dice pools is tremendously good. Really large dice pools are, a good answer to any of those situations where you have a unit that's hard to kill. 22 dice, man, you're going to get, especially with half of them, just about half of them being black dice, you're going to get a lot of hits. You're going to get a lot of hits through that, even if they have heavy cover and, and dodge tokens and all of that stuff. You're going to get a lot of hits through. I did this in one of my battle reports to try to take out an enemy commander Rex on the very first shot of the very first round of the game, and was able to do it. And it was one of these crazy big dice pools. I had to use 2 hands to roll all the dice. Wouldn't have been able to do that without fire support. And clones have a lot of access to fire support, more so than any other faction does, because of their starting core unit having fire support. The Rebels and Empire have it a little bit, right? They if they want to take that mortar, if they want to, but at max they can get 3 of them. And that's with them running 6 core, and then they don't really have as many other really good shooting units. So, a lot of times people will run like maybe 1 or 2. I don't see that many lists for Rebels and Empire that run 3 fire supports, but clones can have 6 fire supports right now. Actually, they can get more than that, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yes, so I think Phase 1 clones, for being they're more expensive, but they're still a solid unit. They have some good upgrade options available to them, but I think fire support being just kind of stapled to them, built in, is actually really cool, and it has been a difference maker in some of my games before. Now, taking the step up to the Phase 2 clones, they also have fire support. They have higher courage, which makes them pretty good. They have reliable 1, which is very nice that you're just going to get those surge tokens automatically. A lot of clone players will run aggressive tactics on their commander so that they can give them additional surge tokens out to all the clones, which they can also, by the way, all share. Again, so their clones are doing a lot more than just sharing standbys. Dodges, aims, and surge tokens are all just crucial to making sure that your army is very effective. So reliable 1, you have more reliable tokens in there too, or more surge tokens, and they have the training slot built in. So Phase 2 clones certainly are able to take advantage of all the stuff we saw before, but even if you use them as fire support, and this is a kind of a cool thing about Phase 2s being used as fire support, is that they get that face-up order token. They're not activating, so they're probably not going to be taking any actions like no aims or anything from them, but they're still going to have that surge token, so they can still if you're close enough, you can still share that surge token, so they can still contribute their green tokens to the fight, to the shot, which is kind of cool, and that's a unique aspect of that token sharing ability that they have. I like the Phase 2s for this too. They are a little more expensive. You're going to pay more for them, but they're really good, especially with fire support. Now, moving on from fire support, we've got the ARC Troopers. Now, ARC Troopers are new. They are incredible. They've got some great heavy weapon options, but just the unit card itself, for a special forces, this is the first special forces that the Republic has got, and they have a lot of really good things going for them. Now, they do not have that built-in surge of any kind, which is in keeping with a lot of the clones, but they're gonna have surge tokens available. They just are. There's going to be so many other ways for them to get surge tokens, whether it's aggressive tactics, whether it's a unit with reliable, whether it's an upgrade that gives them reliable, whether it's somebody else that has reliable in the unit or in the build, not necessarily the ARC Trooper unit itself. It could be somebody nearby that's going to have it. You're going to have that, almost certainly. But they have Impervious, which is going to make them harder to kill. They get that Scout 1 combined with Tactical 1. They're getting free aims on top of all of that. And Sharpshooter 2, or Sharpshooter 1, 2 I mean also. But Sharpshooter on top of all of that. These guys are just absolute death machines. Add to the fact that if they can get to range 1 to 2, they're going to roll 2 dice apiece, which is just really, really nasty. And also 2 dice each in melee is also pretty cool as well. So now the ARC Troopers don't have fire support, but here's a unit you wouldn't want to do that anyway. What you really want is for the ARC Troopers to be firing, and then have your other fire support add to this particular attack pool, which now it also benefits from Sharpshooter. And by the way, your ARC Troopers probably have at least an aim token, at least one, because they've done tactical, maybe even more than that. Now, those are just some units that are going to be doing some shooting, and you can really get some powerful hits in with the clones if you're a little bit more offensive and not just sticking around being kind of, like standby bubbling, like castling, basically. But there's another strategy that only the clones can do right now, and I love, and it basically involves Rex. Now, Rex is amazing. His unit card is really good. He works well with the rest of the clones also because he's got Surge to crit, and there's not a whole lot of surging to crit in the Republic, primarily because there's so much fire support, and now if all of a sudden that Z6 Rebel that Z6 clone phase 1 clone unit that's fire supporting into a clone Captain Rex, now all of those extra 11 dice also have surge to crit. It's really, really nice. So Rex as a unit, as a fighter on the ground is great for clones as well, especially with fire support. But it's also his command cards that are really, really good for clones. And also, yes, he has tactical too, tactical 1. So when he's moving, he's also getting aim tokens, which just moving around without even doing much, just moving and getting into the right spot, or scouting 1 at the beginning of the game. The moving is going to generate those tokens to kind of feed the whole army their aim tokens to be able to spend for rerolls, which is awesome. It's super great. But Rex's command cards are really amazing. So his 1 pip gives him fire support, so now he gets to fire support on everybody else, so they don't have to. And of course, it's his 1 pip; it's only activating him. But his 2 pip is especially amazing. Take That Clankers is going to increase the range of everybody else's attacks as long as they have an aim token and a face-up order token. Now, when you have a face-up order token, you have it until the end of your activation, so you're going to take that face-up order token, you're going to activate this unit, you're going to take an aim, and then you can shoot, which is awesome. But if you have other ways to get them an aim token, like for example, if they have a training upgrade, or if they have some type of personnel upgrade that gives them a free aim or something like that, now all of a sudden they can move, get a free aim, and then fire. Now, what's amazing about that is somebody like a Z6 unit, and I've done this at a number of competitive games, and I really, really, really like this type of alpha strike that the clones have because of a card like Take That Clankers. Taking a clone unit and being able to, on turn 1, if you play Take That Clankers on turn 1, for example, on some maps you might want to do this, is to catch people totally by surprise. Because you may, let's say it's a unit that has tactical 1 or something like that, or if you give that to a Z6 or something like that, you can now move, which puts you pretty far, get a free aim, and now shoot. Now the Z6 and the clone unit are going to be extended up to range 4. So considering you moved from where you were, you moved and are shooting at range 4. That's almost a range 5 Z6 attack from your starting position to your end position. It's just shy of what would be a true range 5 attack. And being able to throw that many dice at range 5 kind of, it's incredible, and it really surprises a lot of people. I love being able to do that, and it's actually magnificent if you can make it work, and I love it. I absolutely love being able to do that, and there's not a whole lot of other really strong long range alpha strikes in the game, and so I love being able to do that, and I think that's also another cool thing that clones can do. And all of this boils down to their lack of being able to do standby sharing with each other. How good are they? That's why I'm talking about all the other cool little things that clones can do. But there's some other things I think we need to consider. You still have Padme, right? You still have Padme. Padme has Exemplar, right? And that's friendly units at range 1 to 2 and in line of sight can spend your green tokens. Now, Exemplar is a far superior ability to just being a clone from a certain point of view. I mean, you can't do it the other way around, but it's only a one-way clone. It's only giving out stuff. You can't ever spend it in return. But Exemplar also has double the range, which is really cool. Because normal clone ability is only range 1. But assuming they nerf the clone keyword or the clone ability of natively being able to share those green tokens, but if they leave Exemplar, well, now clones are still going to have the ability to do that, but it's going to be restricted because, hey, how many Padmes are you really going to be able to run? Right, so maybe you still get one free standby in there, and all of a sudden now that wouldn't seem quite so bad. It would still give you the ability to do it, but you wouldn't be doing it a whole lot. And I think that would probably make a lot of people who think that the standby sharing is totally broken, they'd probably feel a lot better if they knew there was only going to be like, they'd probably only be able to do it once. Well, I say once, but there is also the possibility of being able to do it a second time now because, hey, Anakin is also going to be able to get Exemplar on his 3-pip. So if you're actually running Padme and Anakin, then you're going to have 2 versions of Exemplar in your list, which, granted, you'd really have to want to do this for Anakin Skywalker with his 3-pip to just basically take a standby for a clone unit to shoot. I'm like, wait, Anakin's way more expensive than that clone unit, but okay, whatever. Sometimes, right? And I think, honestly, if you're doing that, you probably want somebody like a tank to be shooting extra times. And I talked about that in my Anakin build the other day. But yeah, no, I think the fact that there are going to be a couple of Exemplar units in the game, that might make them shine just a little bit more. I haven't actually run Padme yet. I've played against Padme, but I haven't included her in one of my builds yet. I think I've been waiting. I think I'm really holding out for Anakin to show up. I think Padme will work really well with Anakin. And so I love the idea of having 2 units that are Exemplar, because they actually will be able to share with each other, and also with the clones. So anyway, funny thought just jumped in my head. That's basically to round out this video. I do think clones are still going to be in a very good spot, even if they lose the ability to have their standby sharing. And again, I don't even think that that's really that bad of a thing if they do it. I think they have enough other tools for that to be very effective for them. I think the clones are still going to be in a good spot, and I feel like, everything else that I've talked about here with the fire support, the other good, the fact that there's so many clone units that have tactical and reliable and built-in green token generation that can then be shared even if they didn't need to use it, is just a really good thing. That just makes them more effective. I think it's going to mean the clones have to move more as opposed to just castling and staying put. And that's probably why I don't find myself doing a whole lot of standby sharing with tokens, because I like to be aggressive. I like to move. I don't ever want to just stay in one place waiting for my opponent to come to me, because playing for fun like I do, and I mean, even when I play competitively, I'm still playing for fun, because I wouldn't ever want to play competitively if I wasn't having fun. So with that being said, I'm never gonna take that ultra competitive approach where I opt not to play the game, and I kind of view like castling almost as not playing the game, or like, well, I'm gonna pass and wait for you to come to me. Like that's I don't really like that. It's not my play style, so obviously it doesn't affect me as much. So I like to be able to be kind of compelled to push my units across the battlefield, take the fight to the enemy, and I think it's just going to change the clones' strategy a little bit, but I think they'll be very, very good at doing that. And that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Also, there's still time left to enter to win that $25 Amazon gift card. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. There's an ARC Trooper giveaway that is also still going on all month long. I'll be announcing that at the beginning of November, who is winning that. There's multiple ways to win that. One is through being a subscriber and leaving a comment. Also, the other is through retweeting or sharing my posts on Facebook and or Twitter. There's more details for that on Crabbok.com. You're going to find that in the links down in the description below as well. So if you go to Crabbok.com, you're going to find a giveaways section there. I've kind of detailed the process a little bit. So if you're curious about that, be sure to check that out. Also, if you are also new here and you haven't already subscribed, in addition to doing that, you can check out some other links. We've got a Teespring merch store link down there. We've got all kinds of cool masks and Star Wars themed shirts and dice bags. This is actually a really cool bag to put your dice in if you are, if you got dice that are rolling all blanks for you, put them in the bad dice prison. You can bring them in warm or you can bring them in cold. But if you put your dice on carbonite, they're going to have a lot of time to think about their performance. And I have seen when you leave them in here for a couple minutes, then pull them out later, they do better. Also, you can use something like this as your little token pool for Star Wars Legion, which is cool stuff. We sell all that stuff down in the description below if you want to check all that stuff out. It's a great way to help support the channel. Also, links for Patreon are down there. All right, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Thanks for watching. Big thanks to my patrons as well. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I could not do this without you. So thank you for your continued support. If you're interested in supporting the channel and becoming a Patreon, there are links to Patreon down in the description as well. So lots of links. All of them are down in the description. Thank you so much. And as always, have a great day.